Welcome to this episode of My Ramblings. This episode, contracting officer authority or no. Just another episode and topic from my book. Uh, Back around 2002 to 2004, Corpus Christi, we had a problem with our switching station. I think I've rambled about it. If not, it's a major chapter in my book. And um, although I could analyze the system, um, I did run into a couple impediments regarding the protection of the switch gear. The Navy had somebody had canceled the office I worked for, or the office prior to me arriving there, had canceled their standard subscription. One of the guys there who, surprisingly enough, had the same three initials as one of my brothers. Um, he was saying, "Ah, well, we didn't need it, so we got rid of it." So plus there was people. I don't know. I guess they didn't trust what I was doing, and so we needed to contract out. Actually doing the actual coordination study for the switching station to come up with a new set of settings. The thing was obviously out of whack. Um, and we just had limited resources. And so I contact one architect engineering firm. They did a lot of work with the Department of the Navy, with the Public Works, I guess Region South too, depending on. Um, so we go in, we're having discussions about scope, and as had been revealed to me over the course of my career, when you sit down with a contractor, you have to discuss scope. When you sit down to discuss scope, what the project involves, what it entails. You can't go any further than that into negotiations because the idea is, you're not colluding with this guy or collaborating with this guy. You're trying to make sure everybody's on the same page of what service is necessary. And then each party has to go back. They have to submit their bid, and the government needs an independent government estimate. And so we do an appraisal of what we think it should cost or would cost. Um, but one of these guys that had showed up, you know, um, I assumed he worked for the Public Works. I'm not really sure. He comes into the office and he starts negotiating price with the guy. I'm thinking, well, I know the guy's name. I really don't know who he is. I think he was an APWO at a nearby base. Maybe the base closed or he just changed jobs or whatever. And I'm sitting, oh, I don't want to be involved with this. We got the scope right. But as I'm getting up to leave and stuff, he's talking about a $25,000 price on it or something. And so I go back to my office and say, well, that project's funded. We don't have to worry about that part of it, or potentially. So I developed the paperwork and I walk it down to the contracting officer's office, which happened to coincide with the ROIC of that area, the ROIC office, resident officer in charge of construction office. Um, and so I passed that off, and so I'm on to other things. And a few months later, uh, the engineering firm submittal comes across my desk, thinking, wow, it's too bad they got rid of that standards database. We might have had this done by now. But, you know, there's, contracting is a valid thing. I don't want to say it's a bad process and stuff. We don't have time to do all the stuff, and we don't always have the expertise to do all the stuff anyway. So I'm looking at it and I go over it, and what they had done was they had expressed to me verbatim the results of the analysis I did, and I'm not sure that I was, but what we had asked them to do as part of the scope, what I had asked them to do as part of the scope of work was to independently verify, you know, the findings and stuff. So I had to kick it back, and so I came back, about a week later, and I was satisfied that they had independently analyzed the situation, and so we got the information we needed. Went to another employee, a guy that supposedly was my supervisor. I didn't want to rock the boat too much about it. The paperwork said the ACOS was, but he actually had a credit card. It didn't cost a lot to get a government credit card that he was authorized to use. So it didn't really cost a lot to get a guy to come out here and change a couple of settings. It's just a couple hours work, I suppose. And so we got the settings changed. Everything was back to normal. The base wasn't losing its power. And I was working on the electrical panel short circuit rating issue project that was consuming a lot of my time, and had moved to the point where, okay, um, I got this job offer I've accepted, and I've got to leave in a couple of weeks. I get a phone call from the engineering firm and says, "Oh, we haven't got paid for that yet." First thought is, "Oh shit, did that guy snake these guys into doing work for the government for free?" And my second thought was, and I didn't stop to think that these guys did a lot of work for the government as well. Maybe they didn't understand the process. So I told them, okay, what you need to do is you need to get the paperwork where the contract was issued to you, the project was issued to you, and in there it should have invoicing problems and procedures. And I think I meant to tell the guy, hey, call me in a week if you have any issues or questions and stuff. But so I don't know if the guy ever got paid or if it got resolved. I'm sure it did. The government definitely benefited from that effort. So, I went from losing power to the entire base, on a weekly or more frequent basis to getting, to not having that type of problem. So that was it. Contracting authority or not, I guess the key points is kind of, only certain people are authorized to do business on behalf of to actually contract with the private sector on behalf of the government. Whether it comes through the base commander or the public works, I don't know. And I know it's delegated through various things with official letters and stuff. So, key thing to remember. All right, hope you enjoyed the ramble. Happy New Year.